Hey, what is up, everybody? This is the Great Puckatini coming at you. What I got for you tonight is I have the Arkansas Razorbacks top 10 versus the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Everybody knows the big news that came out. I think that Arkansas fired Dan Enos today, and I'm going to start off and just have a few things to say about that. I just like to start by saying, let me change over here. Maybe you can see my notes there. That I hate that Danny Nelson was fired today. Firing an assistant coach like this during the season is going to cause us some problems, whether you think it is or not, because when you're trying to find that new coordinator, it's I brought in there that these guys have families, and it's tough to think you have a 3-year contract and you get fired the season you get here halfway through the season, not even at the end. And this is why Hunter Yurachek needs to make sure you do have buyouts for these coaches, because you're not going to get anybody. I mean, imagine if you're Danny Dos's wife or the next coordinator that's coming in, and she knows that the guy before was fired middle of the season. She's not going to want to move her whole family down to Fayetteville, Arkansas to take that job because there's just no job security. You'd be crazy to do that. I mean, come on. And that's tough to do. I hate that we did it. I really wish we'd waited till the end of the year, but I understand it kind of, sort of. Offense struggling pretty bad. I don't think it's all Enos. The players, have got to play. And, Enos, like I say here, he's well thought of, and he'll not stay out of work long unless he wants to. He probably can stay out of work for 2 more years. Remember last time he left Arkansas, he went straight to Alabama and was their quarterback coach and assistant head coach, so he's well thought of, and a lot of you that wanted Enos to be gone, whatever, we got your wish. And I know, there's my very last point here is I hate to say it, but the Hogs, have another very tough opponent, the Florida Gators. They're very talented and have played well. A lot of people are saying that, Florida's an easy win. I mean, not a lot of people, but it's going to be tough to go to Florida and try to win. I think the defense will keep us close like they've done the whole year. Hopefully, maybe Coach Guyton can get something going there. And, and there are some things I would like to see Guyton do, even though I did like Dan Enos. Thought he did a pretty good job. Not this year, of course. They really struggled. But it's just been a lot of things, guys. I coached for 15 years, and it's just you understand if you've been there and done it. Just sometimes things don't go right. But here's what I'd like to see Kenny Guyton do, and I wanted to see Dan Enos do it. I would like for him to quit forcing the run game. Only run it when we have a numbers advantage in a box. Don't run it when you have 6 blockers and there's 7 or 8 men sitting there in the box. You cannot run against that. Our offensive line is not good enough. Our running backs are not good enough. Our running backs are way overrated too. They haven't done anything. There's been some holes there. I know one time A.J. Green had a big hole and he ducked his head and run right into a defender. And there was a hole there. So we just need to run it when we have a numbers advantage. Don't come out running on 1st and 10. Run it when they're not expecting it. And if they have the numbers advantage of the box, we should have the ability to get out of that play. I did that in high school and junior high too. We had audible set up. When I had 8th and 9th graders, we could audible out of bad plays. Number 2 is throw the ball down the field. Stop with these short passes unless it's a check down, and look for the deep ball first. A lot of these pass concepts, you have a deep guy, a middle guy, and a short guy. You try to layer the field. And some teams will look for the low guy first, but I think we'll look for the deep guy first. Try to get big chunks, That's what Alabama does, with Milroe. Milroe's not the most accurate passer, but he throws a deep ball pretty good. Got a strong arm. So they look to throw that deep ball quick, and I think that should be the first read. Let's get the ball down the field. If the corners are up on us tight, we got to get the ball down the field. Throw it up for a jump ball. Mississippi State did it on us and got a 3rd down and 13 or something, All right, number 3, I'd like to see him move the pocket, call rollout passes. And you heard Pittman call for this a lot in his press game after the game's post game interviews. And I wonder if him and Enos fought about that. But listen, I was a head varsity football coach. I coached for 15 years. I was head varsity coach for about 4. And our rollout passes were our most successful pass plays. And we were like Arkansas. We played teams in our conference that were just way better than us. We couldn't just stand back there and block them. So we had to move the pocket, move it right, move it left, short rolls, rolls where the quarterback can run it if you don't see it. And that's what KJ needs. He needs to get out where he can run and just quit dropping back and passing. Our best pass play, I have it on YouTube, you look it up, was when we would roll it out and hit our outside receiver on a comeback route. That was our most best route for 3 years. I had the leading receiver in the area for 3 years in a row, doing just simple plays like that. All right, number 4 is get Isaiah Satang on the field on offense and throw it to him down the field. Quit throwing these little bubble routes to him. Put him in the slot. Put him outside. Let them get up on him tight. Let him run by him. And if KJ can't get the ball to him, we got to get somebody in there that can. I'm tired of seeing that. Underthrowing, bouncing them everywhere. He's got some time here and there. Get Satang on the field and let's get the ball to him down the field. Let him use his speed. Number 5, I say, is open up the quarterback position for competition. KJ to me is not many people have said much about him. They've given him a pass, but I see him doing a lot of things that are not as good. We need him to be more accurate. We need him to run the ball when he can. And I know he's been sacked quite a bit, but when you look at how long to pass the ball, I put a Twitter post out today that I think he gets 2.98 seconds to pass the ball. Alabama gets about 3.4 seconds maybe, but then Missouri was only getting 2.4. And, so anyway, he gets enough time. The offensive line's not been the best in the world, but we got a couple that are pretty good. And if Criswell throws the ball better than practice, he needs to start. We need to find who can throw the ball the best. We're not going to bully ball run over anybody. Nobody. We are not going to do that against anybody, okay? We've got to be able to throw the ball. And if KJ can't do it, we need to go with Criswell. That's my take on that. But anyway, so here is the top 10. We had some guys that played pretty well against Mississippi State. And I know a lot of you guys say, Mississippi State's garbage, this and that. They're not garbage. They're a pretty good team. They're ranked, their grades are better than ours when you look at that Pro Football Focus, and they grade every snap, So, all right, here's number 10. Defensive end, Zach Williams, senior from Little Rock, Arkansas. He only had one tackle, but it was for a stop tackle, which means that he stopped a drive. He did have a quarterback hurry. He had a 70 overall defensive rating and a 71 tackling rating and a 71 grade versus the run. All right, number 9, defensive tackle Tyreen Carter, redshirt senior from Mansfield, Texas. He only had one tackle as well, but it was for a stop tackle. Excuse me. He had a 72 overall grade on defense. He also had a 71 grade versus the run and a 71 tackling grade. All right, number 8 is running back Rashad DeBinion, sophomore from Ellenwood, Georgia. He had 14 carries for 47 yards, which is a 3.4 average. And that's decent. You'd like to see it a little bit higher, maybe 4.5. But, when I was in college, they preached us 3.3 yard average. We can do that. 3 plays, get a first down. So that's not bad, They ran the ball okay. He had 5 catches for 11 yards, so we checked it down to him a bunch. He did have a 73 overall grade on offense, and he said he had a 92 grade in the pass game, but definitely was not for his pass blocking, because 2 of those sacks, I don't know their blocking schemes. Being a coach, there's 100 different ways to block stuff. So I hate to call him out, but I know 2 of them, it looked like he should have blocked the guy that was blitzing. He didn't block him. He was confused, whatever. But anyway, Rashad DeBinion had some good runs and had a 92 grade in pass game. So good job by him. Looked pretty good running the ball. All right, number 7 is left guard, believe it or not. Left guard Brady Latham, redshirt senior from Jinx, Oklahoma. He had a 73 overall grade, had an 83 pass blocking grade, 72 in run block, and he had no penalties. So, Latham has not had his best year at Arkansas since he's been there, but he's done pretty good. You compare him with, Big Bo Limmer. I made a Twitter post today. I think he's like the 30th best center in the college football. And then Josh Braun, who he signed as a transfer from Florida, he's like in the top 30 at guards. So, we've got 2 or 3 really good linemen. And then if you put Devin Manuel in there, who's been hurt all year, And then Kudos, we've got a pretty good line, guys. I know y'all don't see that, but we do. We've just been injured. We have not been able to get them on the field. But Brady Latham had a pretty good game there. 83% pass block. That's really good. All right, number 6. Let's go 6 here. All right, linebacker Chris Paul. He's a junior. Chris Paul Jr. He's a redshirt sophomore from Cordell, Georgia. And he's got NFL written all over him. I think he'll be really good. He's a very good player if we can keep him healthy as well. He had 6 tackles. He had 4 stop tackles. He had a 74% overall grade, 83% versus run, and 83% tackling grade, which is very good as well. So good job to Chris Paul Jr. All right, let's look at number 5 here. Cornerback Hudson Clark, redshirt senior from Dallas, Texas. You know, he was one that a lot of the fans wanted to see him be gone last year. Oh, he's terrible. He's horrible. But you see, Coach Pittman made some changes, and he's had many games. He's been in our top 10 best players. Okay, here he is, number 5. He did have 1 quarterback hit. He played more of a slot corner this game, so they blitzed him off the edge a few times. He had 4 tackles, and 2 of those were stop tackles, which meant they stopped drives. His receiver that he was covering did have 1 target, but they did not complete any passes on him. He had a 75% overall grade, 82% tackling grade, and a 76% coverage grade. So good job there by Hudson Clark. All right, number 4, defensive end Jashad Stewart, senior from Jonesboro, Arkansas. He had 1 tackle, and it was a stop tackle, which stopped a drive. He had a 76% overall grade, 77 versus run, 70 tackling grade. So very good there by Jashad Stewart. All right, number 3, defensive end Landon Jackson. He is a junior from Texarkana, Texas, right down the road from me here at Pleasant Grove High School. He had 1 quarterback hurry. He had 3 tackles that all were stop tackles, stop drives. He did have a pass broken up, and he almost intercepted that thing. Dadgum, it was so close. And I believe in high school he played a lot of tight end, so I thought he was going to catch that thing. When I saw it, I couldn't believe he dropped it. But anyway, it was a good play by him. He had a pass broken up. Boy, it would have been great if he'd intercepted that thing. But anyway, he graded out at 78% overall, 75% tackling grade, and 72 grade versus the run. So good job there by Landon again. All right, number 2 is free safety Al Walcott. He's a senior from Wilmington, North Carolina, and he transferred in from Baylor. Another one of our transfer portal guys, you know, Sue Pittman. They did a good job bringing transfers in. They're playing and helping us. You know, just the offensive line just had some injuries and stuff. All right, so Mr. Walcott had 3 tackles. His receiver that he was covering did have 2 targets, but they only caught 1 of them. He did have an interception there early in the game that really looked like, you know, the Hogs will come on and get ahead. Then the offense couldn't put it in for 7, but they got a field goal. But it was a huge interception there early. You know, really that started the game off good for us. He graded out at 82% overall, 89 coverage grade, and he had a 79% tackling grade. So those are all very good grades there. Anything above 70 is pretty good. When you're up in those 80s there, you had a good game. So good game there, Mr. Walcott. All right, and number 1, the best player who graded out the best is going to be defensive tackle Cameron Ball, redshirt sophomore from Atlanta, Georgia. He only had 2 tackles, but they were for 2 stop tackles. And one of those, he forced a fumble. Now, we did not recover it. Just had a bad, he landed on it, had his hand on it, but he was on his back. He couldn't pull it over, and the running back jumped on it and got it. But that would have been huge there, too. But it's a big play when you knock the ball out like that. He had some very good grades here. He graded at 88% overall, 90% versus the run, and then he had a 73% tackling grade. And so that's all I got. So Cameron Ball graded out the best. You may ask, you know, why I do it by the grades? It's because, you know, when you get beat, or if you see, you know, maybe you run for 300 yards, you know, did all the linemen have a really good game or only some of them? Did the running back actually hit his holes like he was supposed to? You know, or on the other side, if you have a really bad game, even when you get beat, some players play really good. You can't always just look at the stats and say, oh, he was our leading receiver. He must have had a great game. Well, not necessarily. And also, you know, I've heard Nick Saban say, you know, sometimes you might see a team pass for a whole lot of yards, And does that mean that your secondary had a bad game? And it don't mean that. Like you're playing somebody like Mike Leach when he was at Mississippi State, Washington State, they were going to throw for a lot of yards. They were just going to do it. But that don't mean your secondary had a bad game if they threw for a lot of yards. So that's why I always go by grading my coaches. That's why you grade film, because and sometimes when you play teams that are just way better than you, you don't have a chance really to beat them. That tells the team how they did. It shows you how you did. Even in a loss, you can have a good game. Even in a win, you can have a bad game. Okay, so that's why I kind of do that. I try to mix it in there a little bit. But anyway, that's my top 10. Hogs, like I said, going to go down and play Florida in 2 weeks. You got the bye week. Hopefully, Coach Guyton can get them going. I told you the things I'd like to see him work on a little bit better, and that I would like to see. I hate that Dan Enos got fired. I'm an old coach, and I feel sorry for it. I know it was not all his fault. Trust me, guys. They've had injuries, and the players have got to play. Every play that's drawn up is drawn up to work. I promise you. And you can't always listen to all these commentators. Oh, the route combinations, they were too close, do this or that. I disagree on some of those. Those guys have not coached and have not had to, there might have been one or two, but it could have been the players didn't get the right separation. You can't always blame the coaches on all that stuff. But anyway, that's all I got, guys. Those are my top 10. Hopefully Coach Scott can get them going. Hopefully we'll go down to Florida, give them a good game. But like I say, I know you don't want to hear it, but Florida has they have a good team too, guys. It's going to be tough. Go down there and beat them. They're a good team too. It just keeps going. And who are you people that thought we were going to have a 9-win season? Holy moly, what in the world? What kind of Kool-Aid were you drinking? This is a super, super tough schedule. Right now it's the top 10. It's the 10th toughest schedule. And I think it'll go up. You just saw Alabama beat Tennessee. And we played Alabama and almost beat them. Should have beat them. If Dominion don't trip and fall, we probably were going to kick field goal and tie it up and go to overtime. But anyway, that's all I got, guys. Last thing is, go Hogs. Let's go get a Gator.